6:30, I'd like to call the city council meeting to order. Stand for pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very much. Pastor Mike, would you please provide the invitation?
And again, during the month of Thanksgiving, I want to give thanks to all of you for your service here at Lindsborg, for the many things you do in this community, and for your leadership. Thank you. Let's pray. Gracious God, during these days of November, we give thanks for so much, and we're always learning what it means to be thankful. Help us to live those lives of thanksgiving as we remember the many blessings and abundance you have granted to us. We give thanks today for this community, for the leadership provided by these men and women as they are gathered for this meeting this evening. Pray that you would bless them and guide them in their deliberation, in their discussion, in the decisions that they make for this community and for the wider area too. Remind us, O God, that you continue to watch over us. You continue to bless us with all the many blessings you have. And especially during these days, we're mindful of the freedoms that we have in this country as well. And so we praise you and ask that you would guide us to work together. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Do we have anybody here for public input? Seeing none, also I noticed that we have the Bethany leadership class here, is that correct? And I assume there's a reason you all are centered around the chief of police? I will check. All right, moving on. Do we have any amendments to the agenda?
Just to make you aware, under streets and parks, item number 1, we have not received the information from Kansas Department of Transportation yet, so we cannot issue a notice to award. We will have to probably have a special council meeting once we receive that information. We have copies of the bids, but we haven't been given the go-ahead for a notice of award.
Then the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of October 6th. I have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Passed. And also approval of the minutes for the special council meeting of October 20th.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passed. Mayor's report, just a couple items. Tomorrow, City Hall will be closed from 10 to 10:30. There's going to be a brief meeting with city employees to discuss employee health care. And that was all we had, wasn't it? Oh, and then also I'd like to encourage everyone, tomorrow is election day. I'm sure you have been besieged with phone calls and ads and letters in the mail and so on and so forth, so please exercise your right to get out and vote. Is there anything else we don't
Did you want to?
want to do? This just under the
Yeah, please.
Okay. Then the next item is appointments. We have 3 appointments. Samuel Francisco to the Park and Rec Advisory Board. And Samuel, are you here? Yes, sir. Just stand up for us. Thank you. And the reason I ask that, I'm probably the one that has kind of pushed this, that we have appointments and the people don't show up to the meeting that we're appointing, and it's good for me, and I think everybody else to put a face with a name, and so appreciate you being here for that.
Absolutely, sir.
And then Cody Westone for design review, and then Carla Wilson for the Sunstream Advisory Board. And I would entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Okay, all three. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none? Well, welcome aboard. Glad to have you aboard.
Thank you, sir.
Now the real work will begin. All right, November meetings. I think you all have a list of your November meetings, and just want to go ahead and point out November 18th, committee meeting for Administration, Finance, Utilities, and Sunstream Advisory Board will meet that evening. Then November 20th, Streets and Parks and Public Safety will meet 6:30 and 7 a.m. And also on November 27th and 28th, City Hall, all the city offices will be closed for Thanksgiving.
I'd like to bring up one more thing.
Okay.
Swedish public television will be patrolling the streets of Lindsborg starting next week with cameras and all sorts of things and looking at our community youth all dressed up for Christmas. So if you're wondering why we're putting up Christmas lights and trees and greenery next week, that's why.
Good.
Please state the dates.
They'll be here on the 14th.
They'll come up at, you mean the 13th and be here through the 17th.
And we'll be here through the 17th.
Okay.
So if you see cameras going around town and people dressed up as Santa Claus or whatever else, it's.
For a good reason. Yeah. Next item is planning and zoning. And here, you kind of alluded to this a little bit before on the, this is for the design review standards. You want to just give us a quick update on that, please?
Sure. I just want to point out in the minutes that the Planning and Zoning Commission agreed to pursue appearance guidelines in both C2 and C3 district. Staff is drafting some guidelines now. I expect to see some community meetings on the issue with business owners of both business districts. And of course, there will need to be some coordination between the Planning and Zoning Commission and the City Council on whatever gets adopted. Planning and Zoning suggests these issues, but council has the final say on what becomes the code. And I am hopeful that we'll all work back and forth and come up with some solutions to, especially the issue of not having specific appearance guidelines in the C2 district, but perhaps extending those to the C3 district. I think it's going to be a good conversation. Timetable for this will be over the next 2 to 3 months.
Gary, we will not have a meeting together. They will discuss, we will discuss.
Actually, initially, when we do a community meeting with business owners, I would hope to invite both Planning and Zoning Commission and the council to start that discussion so that you hear the input that they are going to Planning and Zoning. And if we need to get together and work in a work session, I think that'd be a good thing.
Well, thinking back to, what was that man's name?
Jim Cowell.
Jim Cowell.
Or Summit.
Yeah. And whatever kind of conversation can happen between both of those entities.
Sure.
It's probably a good thing.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Great, thanks. All right, next item is Administration and Finance Committee.
The first item is a move to go into executive session. I move that we go into executive session to discuss matters under attorney-client privilege and to include the city's bond counsel, city attorney, finance director, and city administrator, and to return to regular session at 7:10. That's a motion.
there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Joe's presentation.
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. What? No, just go ahead and make a motion and
I move we go back into executive session to discuss matters under attorney-client privilege and to include the city's bond counsel, city attorney, finance director, city administrator, and to return to regular session at
7:30
7:35.
or 5, whichever.
7:35.
Second,
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Aren't these exciting?
Patience is a virtue. I'd like to call city council meeting back to order, and Becky, you're back on the slate again.
The next item on the agenda is ordinance number 4894, multi-family neighborhood revitalization. Gary, you want to talk about it? Is this is the second? Go.
Okay, we need to go to the agreement first.
Do you want to go to the agreement first?
Yeah.
Right, which is number,
It is actually part of number 1, to approve the agreement with Gilmore and Bell for for $4,000 for legal advice related to the Securities and Exchange Commission MCDC initiative.
thank you very much.
Yes.
And what he said, and that is a motion.
That is the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
And we need roll call. Cassie?
Kelly? Yes. Betty? Yes. Lane?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Cory?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Emo?
Yes.
Becky? Yes. Thank you. All right. Going to follow in order here, or where are we at?
No, right,
Are we on number 2 now?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance number 4894, multifamily neighborhood revitalization. Gary, you want to talk about this?
Briefly, this is a 3-year plan. You will adopt the plan if you pass the ordinance, and agree to enter into an interlocal agreement. It's already been signed off by McPherson County and the school district. This will rebate incremental taxes on multifamily projects on the Harrison Coal Corridor as mapped in the packet.
And this is $100,000, 10-unit,
That's the
that's the minimum.
minimum
Okay.
qualifying project.
All right. This is a motion to approve ordinance number 4894.
Second.
Any discussion? Do we need to do roll call on this one as well?
It is.
Becky? Yes. Tina?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Betty? Yes. Kelly? Yes. Okay, the next item is ordinance number 4895, normal addition, neighborhood revitalization program. Barry?
A specific program that will exist for a year that rebates 25% of the incremental tax on multifamily or actually residential property on a specific property located on the Bethany College campus.
Specifically this one property.
This one property.
Okay.
Very directed incentive.
And it's, this is a motion to approve ordinance number 4895.
Second.
Any discussion?
Didn't we already vote on something in relation to that property?
Yes.
Abatement?
We voted to approve the plan and submit it to the school district and the county
Okay.
for their approval.
Thank you for that.
This is the formal process that will eventually result in the plans being in effect.
And they were both 100% for this.
They were both passed.
Right.
Any further discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Kelly? Yes. Betty?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Eno?
Yes.
Becky? Yes. The next item is E-Civis grant renewal.
Becky,
I'm sorry?
forgive me. I would like motions on both the plans, directing the mayor to sign the interlocal agreement, that we are agreeing to enter into the interlocal agreement with the county and the school district. I had intended to bundle that with the passage of the ordinances, but the ordinances don't specifically direct the mayor to sign the interlocal agreement on each of these plans.
What advantage is that?
We need that interlocal agreement to be coupled with the plan.
The advantage of that is, in going through, because the final step in this process is going through the Attorney General's office for final approval. And while we've adopted the ordinance, let's call it double dotting the I, in authorizing the mayor to sign the interlocal agreement.
So
Because there's several pieces to this whole thing. We want to make sure every piece is correct. NRP programs right now are very much under scrutiny, and we hate for something to be kicked out on a technicality, which they're being reviewed for technicalities right now.
We've got a short window
Yes.
to get this done as well.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Any questions or discussion?
So,
The motion is to have the mayor sign those ordinances for the
Interlocal agreements, yes.
interlocal agreements.
okay,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Kelly? Yes. Betty?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Eno?
Yes.
Becky? Yes.
Thank you.
So this will be signed tonight or tomorrow and?
Tomorrow. So we're gonna take care of tomorrow, and it will be taken, hand-delivered to the Attorney General's office on Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
Wait for a while.
Okay, okay. We'll do-
Is there,
All right.
real quickly, is there an expected time timeframe that the attorney general's office had?
We have no idea. They have us for 90 days. We expect approval in a couple of weeks.
All right. Are we now on the e-service grant?
Go ahead.
All right. E-service is a company that the city has worked with, a search engine, helping us identify grants, and it has been determined that that is not worth the $6,500 that it costs. So this, what do we want to do? Just,
You can either take no action and then it
is
will
this,
renew it, or you can make a motion.
to not renew it?
Yes.
Is this in the 2015 budget? Is this? Okay, all right,
Not from a contract standpoint,
okay,
no.
all right. We take no action, so we don't renew it.
There's no motion.
Okay.
No action means it's dead, you should know that.
All right.
That was good.
Okay, good, all right. Well, you know, I do health insurance, and we do need that, so, who would like to talk to this very, okay. I'm sorry, tell me where we are with all of this now.
Our 2015 health insurance actually is set for renewal on December 1st of 2014. We have a umbrella coverage with health reimbursement as part of it. Our umbrella carrier is Coventry, which January 1 will become Aetna. They provide coverage at a level of deductible of $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. Below that, the city self-insures. We have a health reserve account that we pay claims out of. Excuse me. And so not only do we have, the coverage on that is $300, $600 deductible, and then there's a, I just went blank on the co-insurance. It's 80/20 for,
1,100.
yes. So the maximum out of pocket is $1,400, $2,800 for an employee. There's office co-pays that don't count towards the 80/20 for the deductible. It does include a prescription program, and that doesn't count towards deductible or the 80/20 co-insurance. Because of the plan design of the umbrella coverage, and also from wise utilization by the employees, we've been able to build that reserve account while the umbrella coverage has gone up in cost. Basically, we are able to keep the total cost to the city flat. And it is actually less by 0.3%. The annual premium for 2014 is $356,729.88. For 2015, it's $300,055. $355,476, thank you, which is a slight decrease. So what we're asking this evening is to approve the program for 2015.
This is a motion to approve the 2015 health insurance for the city in the amount of $355,476.
So, is there a second? That was a motion. Is there a second?
Oh, you made it. Second, sorry.
Okay. Any discussion?
This is a phenomenal achievement, and congratulations to staff.
Well, and then the employees for using it wisely.
That's a phenomenal achievement to see an actual decrease in premium.
All right, Cassie, roll call please.
Yes, Becky? Yes.
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Cory,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Blaine,
Yes.
Betty,
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
I think the last item is acquisition of property, 3/4 of an acre that is in the floodplain for a cost of $7,000. I'm assuming everybody read about this.
It's less than that, there.
The city owns a similar piece of ground in the floodplain. Greg, I think he purchased it from the previous owner. Or did you go through the,
Are you talking
probably
about,
on the north side of Garfield?
actually, the chief was responsible for that, in visiting after years of code enforcement on that property. There was an actual donation of that property to the city.
Not long after, though, Greg tried to obtain this particular piece of property and was outbid. We have the opportunity to purchase it now for $6,000. I had Bill draft the contract. I haven't presented it yet to the owner, but do expect the terms, an agreement on the terms. This is an opportunity for us to obtain possession of ground that can and should not be developed. Cannot and should not be developed because of its, 90% of the parcels in the floodplain. It will not be a loss of property tax income. I think put it in the agenda sheet that our annual income from this property is about $26. And Parks right now maintains the property to the north, really not much more money just to come around and load this piece too. We really should, anytime that we have the opportunity to obtain floodplain property at a reasonable price, we should jump on it.
And you said the price is different than what's stated here?
We've negotiated a purchase price of $6,000. I asked for $7,000, not to exceed $7,000, just in the event if there were various closing costs.
Well, you'll have some title insurance expenses, that type of thing, so I think up to 7,000 makes sense, but the contract will be written to the seller for 6.
So the motion is to, not to exceed 7,000 that we purchase this piece of property.
Have a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Cassie, roll call please.
Kelly,
Yes.
Betty,
Yes.
Blaine,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Cory,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Rena,
Yes.
Betty. Yes.
Thank you.
Any others? You sure? Or do you have any others?
No.
Okay. Moving on to utilities. David?
Utilities, I don't see Tim here to make a professional explanation of what this is, but he did show at our committee meeting, and this is to perform an arc flash study on the city's electrical distribution system. We've already done this for the electrical of the wastewater treatment. And it's felt that it would be helpful in terms of safety and also knowledge of weaknesses, etc., if we would do this for the rest of the city's electrical system. So I move that this bid of $5,415 to Mid-States Energy Works be awarded to them to perform the arc flash study.
Okay, we have a motion, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Is this to be
Seeing none?
done
Oh, I'm sorry.
immediately?
Yeah, it will.
Do you have a timeframe on this one?
I'm not sure how long it will take them to do it, but it would begin within 30 days. It's part of a requirement of OSHA to have the arc flash study done. State Department. Well, State Department, since we're not under OSHA, they apply OSHA rules.
Any further discussion?
Anything else to discuss about this?
Okay,
Did I use their field?
you did. That's all right.
I don't need to. I'm fairly comfortable.
Okay, hearing no further discussion, need roll call on this as well.
Becky?
Yes.
Eno?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you.
The next item brought forth from the electric department is a proposal for Mid-States Energy to complete a preliminary assessment of line loss issues on the city's electrical distribution system. And right now, the loss is about 15%, and Tim at least feels it should not be, it should be under 5%, in fact. There are several reasons why we may have a line loss. In other words, for electricity that's being sent out but not used. Is that correct? Correct. And we hope to be able to find where those losses are in order to plug the gap, if you will, and to save the city money. So that's a requested amount for not to exceed $2,500 to Mid-States Energy to conduct this assessment, and I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
No, we've always really kind of prided ourselves on our low line loss. So this is just new, realize the first.
This
quarter
year
of
it's
the year.
really jumped.
It's
And
jumped
the
from last
next-
year.
What?
It's jumped from last year.
Yeah.
I mean,
The next
50%.
item on the list also refers to this.
So 15%, I mean, can you kind of put a dollar figure to that, what that might mean? I mean, just ballpark figures, I mean, that we're paying for electricity, but we're not actually using.
Well, roughly 50,000 kilowatts, 60,000 kilowatt hours a month. Larry?
Something to that effect, you know.
And I was for.
Trying to do, what?
I was for our line loss, I mean, recently our line loss has been 4%. So
We're
that's
probably
a
looking
huge
at $7,500 to $10,000 a month. Just ballpark it in.
There were some thoughts that might.
Yeah, some of the new construction architects like to oversize the transformers because it's part of what they're required to do is size the transformer like all the loads going to hit at one time at a particular building. Well, it's never that way. So we need to look at some of the transformers out there. What happens if it's 600 amps and it's only pulling 200 amps all the time? We're running 600 amps of electricity and we're losing it in heat, things like that in the transformer itself.
And I misspoke when I said the next
I
thing.
thought we were-
Referred to that, I'm sorry, the next thing when we had committee meetings.
So that's a possibility.
So the fact that the guy wants to do this on an hourly rate, he probably has a pretty good idea of where he wants to start. He's going to start at this
Yeah, there was some
rate.
discussion about that.
We don't wander around in places that are.
He has some ideas, I think.
Yeah,
already.
okay.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Kelly?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Eno?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm gonna bring the next one up. The next one is on wastewater utilities. 3 different proposals here for completion of a sewer development master plan, along with the request for proposal sent out by the city. Now, you'll see 3 different proposals at 3 different costs there. And we had a lengthy discussion about the fact that PEC's proposal is $24,006, Wilson $22,970, and EBH is $12,500. And Tim's comments were, the 10,500 difference is considerable, and they hope that we would have a chance to discuss it. He made a pretty, Becky, he made a pretty persuasive proposal that they would prefer to go with Wilson, who has a considerable background with our systems here in the city, and he works with them all the time and has a very good relationship with them. And little is known about EVH.
And they just, wasn't Wilson that just did the Normal Street lift station event?
Oh yeah, but aren't they also doing the floods?
So they're
Yeah.
in the midst
So,
of all this.
yeah, I mean, it all kind of works together. I'm going to make a proposal here, make a motion that we go with Wilson's bid of $22,970 for this, understanding there may be some more discussion. I think I've presented Tim's view about as well as I can.
Okay, we have a motion, do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? I guess in looking at this, there is considerable difference here. In looking, I guess maybe, Greg, I guess, on their proposals to us, are we comparing apples to apples, or did EVH, did they leave something out of it? I mean, what in your estimation is such a difference? Pardon
It
me?
was not as detailed
Right.
a proposal.
It's not nearly as detailed, and it's hard to make that comparison. I went all over them all again this afternoon, and, as I look at it, well, they're gonna have this, but they're not delineated out nearly as.
I think the time frame, and this is part of the discussion also, with Wilson was last, I think it was 70 days.
70 days.
And with EVH, it was 120. Depends on how important time is to you in getting this information. From a staff perspective, having this information will help from a community development standpoint and dealing with developers. Our biggest stumbling block when we have those conversations is sewer capacity, where the lines going to be built, how they're going to be built. Our answer right now is we'll hire an engineer, and you tell us. This arms us with the information, saying, well, this is what we can tell you about our system and future expansion.
Well, I think that we've got a pretty good track record with this as well, and a pretty reliable firm, so.
Well, that's what was discussed in committee, and the level of the relationship with Wilson and the individuals we knew that would be working on this project. I mean, Tim had a lot of confidence in that, knowing that they would be able to provide what we needed in the time frame that we needed. He gave us a lot of confidence anyway that that was the case.
Okay, any further discussion? Cassie?
Kelly? Yes. Betty?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes?
Rick?
Yes.
Cory?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Eno?
Yes.
Becky? Yes.
The next item for discussion is the Westar Electric contract. If you've been following all the things that have been sent to us by Greg and Noah and the things that have been going on the last 2, maybe 3 years, he has worked hard in this area as well. And I think I'll make this motion, and then if you have questions of Greg or anyone else, we could discuss that. But I move to approve the settlement agreement before the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission in docket number ER 14-804 and ER 14-805, and to authorize Deborah D. Roby, the City of Lindsborg's first legal counsel, FERC, legal counsel to sign the settlement agreement on its behalf.
That is a motion.
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yes.
I guess, Greg, you're not gonna read this entire thing.
Well, I just, keeping it up for, in case there's questions.
I was gonna have to call out for some more Pepsi, I think.
Just like marked up potential questions, so.
Yeah, hold up.
I have to vote tomorrow.
This is only one though.
Oh,
They can't see it, your book is closed.
yeah, that's not the way to show it.
That's just one of them, okay.
That's the way to show it.
So did it turn out good, or are you happy?
Well, from where we started, yes, is the best way I can answer it.
Yeah, that's what it did. Not very often I get to see you happy, Greg. Especially when it comes to energy.
I certainly, speaking for myself, I had no concept that this would be such a long, difficult process to do what we've done.
Well, you also have to consider, there's, besides us, there's 4 electric cooperatives involved, and the Kansas Corporation Commission got involved. So you have, well, then you throw in Westar, and then it gets filed with FERC, so you have 8 parties to an agreement.
Greg, for the benefit of student leadership class, would you give like a 2-minute overview of what that 4-H binder is about?
Keep it to 1.5.
But this is pretty impressive because from our standpoint, a community of 3,500 people was represented in Washington DC on unfair pricing.
Yeah, well, and what this particular issue came down to was March 1 of this year, the Southwest Power Pool became responsible on a regional basis to dispatch electric energy across a 7-state footprint, which changed some of the terms in our existing, or potentially changed some of the terms in our existing agreement. The challenge became is how those changes were going to occur, what charges were going to be able to be passed through, because for instance, some of the parties to the agreement, Westar schedules and manages all their transmission. Transmission is treated different from the actual generation and purchase of energy. We are a transmission customer, but we contract with Kansas Municipal Energy Agency to handle that for us. The others are not transmission customers, they're represented by Westar. So some of the issues became separating out charges for being a transmission customer of Westar and being our own transmission customer. And then there's also several financial things, because there's auction revenue rights, transmission congestion rights, that are basically financial instruments within the contracts and how those costs get allocated. Well, sometimes it's not cost, sometimes it's beneficial revenue and who gets benefit of those. And then additionally, like the auction revenue rights and the transmission revenue rights as a transmission customer belong to us. And we had to make sure that we got appropriate credit for them, plus when this contract expires, that we retain and they don't try to take ownership of those rights. We started actually discussing this in September of last year. All the parties to the agreement except for FERC, because they weren't a party to the agreement at that time, agreed in December of last year to all the terms that had been negotiated. It is filed at FERC for final approval. Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. And then The independent co-ops, of which there's 3 of them under this contract, filed an intervention. Then the Kansas Electric Power Cooperatives filed an intervention. Kansas Corporation Commission filed an intervention. So we filed an intervention to protect our rights. Not that we had any issues with the agreement, it was filed. It's just that if there were going to be changes to the agreement that were going to be detrimental to us, we wanted to see it at the table. Or if there were things going to change that were going to be beneficial to us, we wanted to make sure that we got the advantage of those. It was filed. There was actually a hearing in June that was canceled at the 11th hour. There was one, I think it was in August, it all runs together after a while. And essentially it's been a matter of exchanging documents between August and now.
But essentially, all the work was to establish a fair and reasonable rate of purchase power into the future for our customers so they could realize the cost savings, because they can't realize the cost savings if we can't.
Correct.
Thank you.
I would have 2 minutes, sorry.
On behalf of the students, I'd like to thank you for asking for that.
But it's not as simple as the city council sitting here and deciding that you're going to pay this much for a kilowatt hour. So that 4-inch that represents the cost savings to the citizens of Lindsborg could be self-powered.
And it does impact Bethany College students because Bethany College pays for their electricity as well. And if we cannot keep reasonable costs, then you will pay for that through your tuition and fees. So it's, we're all in this together.
Okay, do we have a motion and a second?
We do, but we haven't voted.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay. Need a roll call?
I think it'd be a good idea to do it.
Then we need a roll call.
Kelly?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Rick? Cory?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Eno?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Thank you.
And the utilities, any other, Mr. Peterson, you have any?
Not that I'm aware of.
That's it.
Okay, no others. Streets and Parks Committee, we had one item, but we don't have one item now because we haven't received what we needed from KDOT. So as soon as we get that, we will be notified by you. We'll try to get a special meeting together, student group staff.
If I get it tomorrow.
All right, so no others on Streets and Parks Committee, Public Safety Committee,
Is there any other?
no others.
That is
All right.
all, Mr. Mayor. Tim?
All right, then the next item is the consideration of purchase order ordinance 4896. What is your desire?
Motion to pay?
Is there a second? Second. Roll call, please.
Kelly?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Cory?
Yes.
David?
Yeah.
Eno?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is consideration of payroll ordinance 4891, 4892, and 4893. Is there a motion?
Move to approve. Second?
Any discussion? You said you did that last time. Roll call, please.
Becky?
Yes.
Eno?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Cory?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Blaine?
Yes.
Betty?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other items we need to discuss? Seeing none again, thank you, Bethany students, for coming to this, and we apologize for the lengthy executive session, but that's the way it goes